Okay. Um, just found out Pose was renewed for season two, and I've been talking about this show for a while. If anybody follows me on Twitter, um, I try to make some videos and some weird shit that happened. And I honestly, I wish I would have started doing reviews for this show when it started, but I admit I had very low expectations for the show, but only and not because of the plot, but because Ryan Murphy's name was attached to it, and that was the only reason. But ever since then, I've been proved wrong. This show is so fucking great, and the thing about me is I really get caught up in the moment, and I'll get into a show and watch like two episodes and just go fucking crazy and just declare it like the greatest shit ever. But in this situation, I feel like I'm not even fucking exaggerating because from the music, the wardrobe, costumes, the setting, the characters, the stories, the just different perspectives of a moment of time. And I had seen Paris is Burning a few times in my life. Um, I had even watched, oh, I sound crazy, but I had watched, I was a fan of Noah's Ark. So it was certain, terms and things that I knew, concerning the, ballroom culture in New York or just the gay, LGBT community in general. But what I really love is, even though this is set in, 87, 88, which is, around 30 years ago, it seems like such a different universe that it almost could seem like it was from the damn 1400s. And what I mean by that is, as the viewer of the show, whatever age you are, you have the privilege of being in the future. And what I mean by that is, for me, I've never known a world without the fear of HIV and AIDS. I've never known that. I've never known that. I remember all through the 90s, there was such a huge wrap it up, get know your status, get tested, sex education, even, any song that I can remember from my childhood. Um, if they were talking about sex, they were talking about condoms, and the dangers of HIV. And we were learning that shit, honestly, I swear, as early as kindergarten. But, you know, knowing what we know now and how treatment has changed from the time when it was discovered up until now. So while it's still a concern and maybe even a fear for anybody that's sexually active, at least to me personally, it's not. It could never possibly be as terrifying to have in your mind as opposed to someone who was around and witnessed it and was affected by it, whether it was they contracted HIV, they lost someone to HIV, or all that. And by that I mean the character of Preytel, who's played by the phenomenal Billy Porter, and he's just everything. I love him, but damn it, if Billy, if you see this, stop making me fucking cry and laugh at the same time. It's not healthy for me, okay? But Preytel's, he's the MC at the balls, and you're not really sure about how old he is. He's obviously, maybe 10, 15 years older than everybody, so he's been around. Um, and he's this really upbeat. Anytime he comes on the screen, he's gonna make you feel good. He's just a happy person. It just makes you feel good. And when you discover that he's dealing with losing his partner Costas to HIV/AIDS, and it's hard to believe that this person who's dealing with such a tremendous situation in his life can be just this lively and upbeat. And in the most recent episode, you know, we're seeing that other side that we don't see of him, his vulnerable side. And during his Billy's amazing fucking monologue. They're eating dinner, and he's been acting, out of character, drinking and smoking and shit, as Blanca would say. And it almost I can understand he feels judged. Like they're looking at him like, well, damn, you need to get it together. You're doing this and that. But they feel I don't think I don't think it's intentional, and it's not our fault that we don't see others' perspectives because we only know ours. But they don't realize that he's lived longer than them. He's been in this world, meaning this world as the earth and also the world of LGBT community. So he saw, when it was labeled gay related, deficiency virus, whatever disorder, I forgot. Yeah. And to have that fear because of the stigma. Well, now we know it as a stigma, but the way that the media and the CDC attached it so hard to this disease is only going to affect homosexual men. So because of that, also with already was crazy, I imagine crazy homophobia. It was a story or a situation that they didn't realize will impact all of us, and it gets tucked away. It's not paid into. So as a result, your loved ones, people that you've come to know in your gay community, loved ones, whoever, they're just dropping, and nobody seems to care. And Freytel is almost like he's been to war, and when you think of it, because he's surviving, he's still there. That was when they discovered HIV was 80, 81. And here he is, in 88, 7 years. And he said that in the past year, he had buried more friends than any of them can even count. And and he's speaking from anger, but it's also fear. And I understand why he would be fearful, because at that time, that was crazy. He's seen it. He's obviously close to these people, so he's seen, just how these people are riding away and just to be forgotten. And it's just that's just my perspective. That's just how I take it. And I just think I've never heard that side of the story because obviously, for obvious reasons, we haven't heard that side of the story from people who were involved in that time. Seeing the rise in the treatment and the homophobia concerning HIV, because they're either drugs or murder or actually dying of AIDS or anything. They aren't here, and we've only ever really heard from the experience and from people dealing with it who have lived in an AIDS world. Um, this shit probably won't even make sense, but I'm just going with it because I'm just excited. Even with the character of Blanca, I understand her, and what I love about how they pair Blanca and Preytel in scenes together and their interaction, they are essentially the same person. They just have two different outlooks, and I understand why Preytel speaks the way he does concerning, we're all gonna get this HIV virus, we're all gonna die. That's just the reality of it. Him being a realist, because at that present time, that shit. I mean, I can see how he thought that was a valid statement. But then you have the beauty in Blanca. Like I said, our privilege of being the viewer, living in the future, knowing, she's HIV positive trans woman, and she hears Preytel, speaking, as she called him, you a pessimistic motherfucker. And I admire that she wanted to be positive, to have hope, and there's nothing wrong with one hope. And what's beautiful is, like I said, we have the privilege of being in the future, so we know that that hope that everything will be okay. She's gonna make a way for her children. We now know, like, the Blancas of that time really did that. So it's beautiful that she has that hope. It's like we know she's right. But at the same time, Pray Tell is right. So I don't know. I just fucking love this show. It takes me through every emotion possible, and I usually try to avoid things that make me too emotional. But it's done in such a wonderful way. As much tragedy as it is involved with the show, there's also just as much triumph. There's just as much um, funny moments. There's just as much, to an outsider, it just sounds like it's like some crazy drama, but it's beautiful. It is beautifully done. The women in there are so beautiful, and you would think like this is just, they're just made up, like you go to their IG and their Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and they, even when they're chilling, they're still the same beautiful women. And uh, I'm actually getting introduced to a lot of those people's work. I'm very excited about that. Um, I could probably say more, but I really don't want to. But I just want people to watch the show, and I would love to be a part of the show in some kind of way. If I have to be an extra, if I have to be the one to put a fucking lemon in the cup, I want to be a part of this show because this shit is amazing. Somebody let me know how to go audition or throw in some. I don't know. I love it. Everything about it. Hmm.